Most men think women choose based on looks, charm, or money. They don't. They choose based on something deeper, something instinctual. You see, women don't always pick the best man. They pick the one who awakens the strongest signals in their nervous system, not their brain. A smile doesn't mean she's chosen you. A date doesn't mean she's invested. Because attraction isn't the same as selection, and attention isn't the same as commitment. Women decide in silence. They test without warning, and they walk away without explanation, because they've already made the decision long before you even noticed. The truth? It's not that you're not enough. It's that you didn't know what she was really scanning for, beneath the surface. This video is about what makes a woman truly choose. Not what she says she wants, but what her body, her emotions, and her unconscious mind are responding to. And what if I told you? The men who consistently get chosen, without chasing, without begging, all embody the Stoic frame. Let's break down the 5 Stoic rules of female selection. Rule 1. Women choose men who stay grounded in chaos. Most men believe women want emotional safety, and they're right, but they misunderstand what that truly means. They think being emotionally available means being soft, overly expressive, or constantly validating. But to the feminine nervous system, safety doesn't mean comfort. It means strength under pressure. She doesn't want a man who panics when she panics. She doesn't want someone who mirrors her chaos. She wants a man who anchors her storm without becoming part of it. The man who can be yelled at without yelling back, who can listen without flinching, who can breathe deeply and hold eye contact when she's unraveling. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is the core of Stoic masculinity. Stillness that doesn't shrink, presence that doesn't plead. Most men react. They argue, defend, or emotionally collapse. But the Stoic man knows that emotional reactivity is weakness disguised as love. Instead, he pauses, he listens, he holds the frame, not to dominate her, but to protect himself and lead the moment. When a woman tests you, and she will, she's not trying to destroy you. She's trying to find the edges of your strength. She's asking silently, "Can I trust this man not to fall apart when things get messy?" Here's something worth commenting on. Have you ever had a moment where staying calm made someone respect you more? If so, drop it in the comments. Let's learn from each other. Because in the end, women don't fall for the man who understands emotions. They fall for the one who doesn't drown in them. Rule 2. Women choose men who keep their mystery. In a world of oversharing, mystery is rare, and rare is powerful. The Stoic man doesn't need to constantly explain who he is. He doesn't narrate his every emotion. He doesn't over-communicate to prove himself. Why? Because a man who knows himself doesn't need to be understood by everyone. And that includes her. Women aren't drawn to men they can predict. They're drawn to the ones who make them wonder, who awaken their imagination. It's not deception, it's depth. It's letting her feel there's more to discover, rather than putting everything on the table from day one. Seneca said it best, "He who is brave is free." And bravery isn't just about physical risk. It's also about being unafraid, to remain silent, to be misunderstood, or to hold a piece of yourself back. When you're not needy for her approval, something shifts. You become a question in her mind. Where is he right now? Why didn't he text back immediately? Is he thinking of me? These questions create tension, and tension, when handled with grace, becomes irresistible. Now, if you're already in a relationship, here's where most men slip. They turn into open books. They confess every insecurity. They announce every plan. They become emotionally dependent, and the polarity dies. But the Stoic man? He shares enough to be present, but not so much that he becomes predictable. He leaves room for her to lean in, to guess, to chase. He protects a sacred part of himself. And in that silence, she finds magnetism. Let me ask you this. Do you think mystery matters in love? Or is full honesty always better? Drop your take in the comments. It'll be interesting to see both sides, because one thing is clear: a man who keeps his inner world sacred becomes the man she wants to explore, not explain. If this video is opening your eyes or helping you see things more clearly, take a second right now and hit that subscribe button. It might seem small, but it helps us grow, reach more men, and create even more content that hits you in the gut, not just your head. Thank you for being here. You're part of something real. Rule 3. Women choose men who are respected by others. Stoic doesn't seek approval. He doesn't chase recognition. He builds himself from within. And that inner gravity is what attracts respect from the outside. Real value doesn't need to shout. It radiates. It shows up in how you walk, how you speak, how others listen when you do. Respect isn't about dominance. It's about being a man of quiet substance. A man who earns admiration simply by living in alignment with his principles. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." That's not just about abstract wisdom. It's about living in a way that others feel without needing words. When you hold yourself to higher standards, physically, mentally, spiritually, people notice. And more importantly, she notices. You don't need to name drop. You don't need to post your wins. If other men respect you, if other women, take a second look if your presence is remembered after you've left the room. She feels that. And something shifts inside her. Because attraction isn't just about how you treat her. It's also about how the world treats you. Your attention now carries weight. Your validation becomes scarce, and therefore more valuable. This is especially true if you're in a long-term relationship. Many men grow complacent. They stop striving once they've won the girl. But the Stoic man continues to evolve. Not to impress, but because self-growth is part of who he is. She still sees you admired by your peers. She sees others gravitate toward you. And that keeps the polarity alive, because she's reminded, I'm with a man others quietly admire. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how differently people treat you when you're operating at your best? Mentally sharp, physically fit, spiritually grounded? Drop your story in the comments. It might inspire someone who needs it right now. Because in the end, a man who respects himself doesn't need to demand respect. He receives it effortlessly. Rule 4. Women choose men who lead the emotional tone. Every room has a dominant emotional current, and every relationship has a dominant emotional leader. Most men don't realize it, but they're constantly reacting. She's distant, so they chase. She's upset, so they apologize. She's cold, so they get insecure. But here's the truth. You can't lead her if you're always following her mood. The Stoic man doesn't mirror energy. He creates it. He walks in with calm, and the tension lowers. He holds stillness, and others slow down. He speaks less, and his words land harder. Epictetus said it perfectly. No man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't just about what you do. It's about how little you're controlled by emotion. And emotional leadership begins with this. Never outsource your state to someone else's mood. When a woman is emotional, she's unconsciously asking, "Can you hold me without becoming me?" She doesn't want you to collapse. She wants you to anchor. She wants to feel your steadiness, especially when she doesn't feel her own. If she's upset over something petty, don't match her chaos. If she's anxious, don't feed it with more uncertainty. Hold your breath, ground your body, relax your jaw, lower your voice. Because women don't follow the man who yells the loudest. They follow the one who rules the room without needing to dominate it. This isn't about emotional detachment. It's about emotional discipline. You don't ignore her feelings. You acknowledge them without being consumed by them. So here's a question to reflect on. Have you ever diffused a tense situation simply by staying calm? Have you ever noticed someone mirror your calm instead of your chaos? Share it in the comments. Your experience might help another man step into leadership. Because when you master your emotional tone, you stop getting pulled into storms. You become the weather system she adjusts to. Rule 5. Women choose men who can walk away. This is the line in the sand, and most men never cross it because they're too afraid of being alone. They confuse commitment with compliance, thinking that love means enduring anything, even disrespect. But true masculinity, Stoic masculinity, doesn't fear walking away, because the Stoic man knows that the ultimate power is self-possession. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." So when your emotional state depends on her mood, when your worth depends on her affection, when your boundaries are negotiable just to keep the peace, you've already lost the game. A woman may love your gentleness. She may appreciate your loyalty. But if she senses that your sense of self disappears the moment she threatens to leave, she won't stay, because she can't trust you. But if you hold your ground, if you state your limits with calm, if she crosses them again, and you leave, not in anger but in peace, she will feel something deeper than love. She will feel respect, because walking away without rage is a signal of strength. You're not punishing her, you're protecting yourself. This doesn't mean you play games. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care about yourself enough to say, "This is my line, and I won't abandon myself to keep someone who doesn't honor it." If you're watching this and you've ever stayed too long in something that hurt your self-worth, write one word in the comments: free. Let that be your declaration, and let others see they're not alone, because the man who can walk away is the man who never had to chase. He doesn't fear rejection, because he already chose something greater, his peace. Be the man who leads, not the one who waits to be chosen. Let's speak plainly. Women don't fall for the loudest man. They don't long for the one who gives the most compliments. They don't stay with the man who sacrifices everything just to be liked. They choose the one who moves through life with clarity, the one who holds his center in the midst of chaos, the one who listens without reacting, speaks without explaining, and leads without needing to be followed. Because in the end, it's not about what you say to her. It's about what your energy tells her without a word. A man who has chosen himself, who has become whole on his own, doesn't need to be chosen. He attracts from a place of overflow, not lack. He doesn't perform for love. He embodies strength and lets love meet him where he stands. And here's the deeper truth. You don't become this man by chasing women. You become him by mastering yourself, by studying your emotions, by building inner order, by living the Stoic path, where you do not beg for peace, you become it. So, I'll leave you with this. If this message hit you in the gut, if it woke something up inside you, tell me in the comments. What rule hit the hardest? Which one do you need to lean into more? Let's open the floor. For real men, walking the Stoic path together. Because this isn't just content, this is a movement. A call to rise above neediness and walk in calm, quiet command. If this resonated, hit that subscribe button. Because Stoicism isn't some ancient philosophy stuck in books. It's a blueprint for becoming the kind of man the world doesn't forget. Let's build that man together.